And now, you're tuned in to RBLR, the home of Tampa Bay's Reveler Sports.
Welcome into RBLR Sports, your source for the Bolts and the Bucs and everything in the Bay. This show, we are talking about the big game, the Superb Owl, the championship between the AFC and the NFC. The Super Bowl is now here in Tampa. We will be talking about how your Bucs will be matching up against the Kansas City Chiefs. We will also be talking a little bit about our defending Stanley Cup champions. They had a big week. And with me, along for this amazing ride on our pirate ship, is Chris. Chris, how are you doing, buddy?
Good, man. Good. Ready for the game Sunday. It was a little chilly this morning, a little frost in the car. Not used to that, being in Tampa, but other than that, I'm ready to watch some football.
And alongside myself to my digital right-hand side is Musab. Musab, what's going on, man?
It's going, Eureka and Chris. Just trying to calm myself down because I am way too excited for this Super Bowl Sunday.
Yeah, it's the coldness hasn't deterred me at all. I've just been I have my NFC Championship shirt on, with the shorts, doing a run, doing whatever. We are ready, and it's really been nice to see how the community's really been vibrant. There's all the Super Bowl experience going on. We've got just banners and flyers and guys selling bootleg merchandise on every corner of Tampa Bay, it seems. So I know everyone's excited, everyone's ready. This is a big moment for our city. It's a big moment for our team, and there will be big matchups on both sides of the ball. Let's get started talking about, first and foremost, the Buccaneers offense, which has been the ups and the downs have mostly been on the offensive side of the ball. They're going to go against the Kansas City defense. And overall in this game, as much as both of these teams are high-scoring offenses, this is only a 3-point favorite from Vegas. The Bucs are a 3-point underdog. Overall, like I said, high-scoring offenses. Tampa now scoring about 31 points a game. They scored 31 against Green Bay in the NFC Championship. They scored 30 against New Orleans. The Bucs, they do throw for just about 390 yards, and Kansas City gives up about 245. On the ground, the Bucs do rush for just under 100 yards a game, but Kansas City allows 120 on average. So I think we should start first and foremost with the straw that stirs the drink. The GOAT, the guy who's going into his record 10th Super Bowl. Musab, what are we expecting to see from Tom Brady?
We're expecting a stellar performance by Tom Brady. Now, I want to just dig a little deeper.
Yeah.
This is the GOAT, as you said, on a new team with, a bunch of new guys, and he's led them to the Super Bowl. This is basically where it's all just blood, sweat, and tears. Now it's now or never. It's after whether you win or lose, this is it. So for that reason, I think Tom Brady, he's just gonna do everything he can to pump up the rest of his teammates, to play smart, to really communicate effectively with Byron Leftwich and Bruce Arians about what his guys should be doing on the field. The thing is, there aren't many offenses in the NFL that can keep up with the Chiefs. That is pretty known. But if there's one team that's shown over the last 2 months, led by Tom Brady, that it has a chance, it's the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. In the seven games since the two teams last faced off, the Bucs have found their groove offensively, averaging about 30 points, as you mentioned, and far different than the Tampa Bay offense that compiled 39 yards on an average of just 3 yards per play in the first quarter against the Chiefs. That slow start Bucs is no way that they're going to show up to this battle. Not at all. And they definitely can't afford to. Now Brady, aside from the three uncharacteristic second half interceptions in the NFC Championship game, he's been on a roll following the Bucs' return to action in Week 14. I mean, he's been getting in sync with the weapons all around him. He's averaging over 300 yards, and he's just really adjusted well. I just think it just really comes down to, I think he just sat down one day and realized that, hey, me and my guys, we got to make something happen. But, these guys are pretty young. When I look at Scotty Miller, Ronald Jones, Godwin, Evans, all these guys, I mean, yeah, they're not old, and yeah, they're not super young, but I mean, these guys, they don't have the experience like Tom Brady does. So, it's basically kind of just like Tom Brady's that big brother who's, they're all counting on. And I really, really think that he's going to be playing really smart. There's no way he's going to be throwing 3 interceptions like he did last game. If anything, I think there may be one. That's just because the Chiefs got lucky on something. But, I mean, this game is about playing it really smart as well because, again, the Chiefs, I put them at a whole different level compared to our past opponents. What I see for the Packers and the Saints is, a really, really good matchup against the Bucs. But, I mean, the Chiefs, not that we can't handle them, it's just that they're just a whole different breed. They're coming from the AFC, so we're kind of not really getting a good vibe of, what kind of teams they're playing because we really haven't played any of those teams like we have with the, Packers and Saints. So we are really in for a treat, and I really think that Tom Brady, he's gonna do something special that that shows us all why he is the GOAT, and I think he's gonna make some magic happen.
Chris, I'll throw this to you, man. Tom Brady. Now, Musa brought up kind of the other people not having the experience. I mean, no one has the experience that he has in the postseason. But what do you think it means to have on this week in this 2-week break? What does it mean to have a leader like that in the locker room?
It's huge, especially going to the Super Bowl. We've always been missing that leader in the locker room that I feel like we really needed, and I think we didn't have that with Winston, and that definitely showed. So I think having Brady in there now, that he's keeping the guys confident. He's keeping them poised. I'm sure he's keeping them focused on this game and not worrying about anything else and just going out there and playing Buck football. And him being in there alone, it's huge. It can take our team to another level. We don't want our guys to. I mean, I'm sure they're going to be nervous, but with him in there, he can show his veteran leadership and show them, hey guys, I've been here before. This is, it's just another game. Let's get the win. Let's win the Super Bowl, in front of our hometown. So him being there, yeah, it's huge. It's definitely going to keep the morale up, keep the team going, and getting us ready for Sunday, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, I think this whole year we've kind of been on the Tom Brady popsicle tour. We've all been kind of sucking on the popsicle there, man. But in reality, that is the difference between this Buck team being, a good defense and an okay offense that we were the last, few years. Or, they have all this promise. Well, promise needs to be fulfilled to be real, expectations immediately shot up for the one reason, and that's Tom Brady. Once number 12 came in, people expected the Bucs to get where they are right now. And so I agree with you guys that without his leadership, we wouldn't be close to being where we are right now. I mean, a good defense on one side of the ball, you still got to score points. And now, with that said, Musab, how do you think Kansas City is going to try to game plan against this Buccaneers offense?
They're going to game plan just by attacking the offensive line. I think that wide receiver defensive back battle, that's kind of be in a different category, or they're going to have their own. They're going to be their own little world, having their own little battle. But the thing that I'm really looking out for, the matchup to watch on Sunday night, is going to be that Bucs O-line versus the Kansas City Chiefs D-line. Although Ali Marpet and Ryan Jensen have played at an extremely high level at left guard and center, respectively, right guard Aaron Stinney, he's been solid, but there's been some things that he's kind of slipped up on, but he's still a really good cover for the injured Alex Kappa. Uh, but now, kind of looking at the Chiefs, kind of playing that three technique on the left side of the defensive line, Chris Jones could create some significant issues for the Bucs as a dominant member of their Kansas City Chiefs pass rush. But looking at it again, Tampa Bay, we've been able to handle three top seven regular season pass rush, defenses throughout the postseason thus far. We've been finding ways to score points, and while I do think that Kansas City's pass defense is solid, I think that the Bucs are going to make this contest a lot more exciting offensively than last time. Just with kind of the motivation, and if like what Chris was mentioning about kind of we're at home, and obviously Brady's he wants to make the city proud and stuff like that. I just think that the only thing that's going to really affect Brady and the running backs is kind of that pass rush, or kind of that just that overall D-line pressure that Kansas City gives off. I mean, they've been coming at their opponents in the past, and they got some really deadly guys. We definitely need to just keep our eyes out on Chris Jones, as I mentioned, and defensive end Frank Clark. Jones has been more consistent and more disruptive pass rusher, and his impact on Brady will be a canary in the coal mine for both Brady and for the guys early in the game. The pass rush has been successful with and without Frank Clark, but if Brady holds the ball too long in the pocket, that's when we got to start worrying about are these guys going to be kind of coming at us, or really, I don't know, might pressure us to throw an interception or get sacked or something. So that's kind of the big matchup I'm looking for is how well is our O-line going to protect Brady, because if anything, that's just something that's my big worry. Yes, I think that the Kansas City, defensive back, secondary unit, I think they'll do a good job. Obviously, they're a Super Bowl team now, but our guys are great too. I know one or two guys ought to be open here and there. So as long as Tom Brady has his time to really kind of, look out on the field to see what's going on, kind of read the field and read the defense and his offense, I think we'll be successful.
Now, Chris, I'll ask you too, how do you see there being a way that maybe the Chiefs' game plan to take away Brady, and then the Bucs are going to have to rely on the run game? Or do you that's kind of my question, is how do you think the run game is really going to go against the Chiefs?
I mean, I'm hoping obviously it's good. I mean, first time we played him, Rojo had 9 carries for 66 yards. Fournette only had 3 carries for 10 yards. So I definitely expect to see an increase of touches for both guys. Fournette's obviously been hot lately. He had that big run last week. Thank God for playoff Lenny on that one. I think it's going to... I'm hoping for 25 carries. I would even take 30, honestly. I'm really concerned about Mahomes being on the field. I think it's going to be crucial for us to run the ball a lot, keep the defense fresh, so we can go out there and keep making the plays that our defense has been making in the playoffs. Because, I mean, let's be honest, our defense has played really well in the playoffs, and we've all been surprised. All the Buck fans have for our defense that has shown up. So, I mean, obviously, running the ball is a big key to this game, because I think keeping Mahomes off the field is going to be key. He threw for 462 yards. Obviously, that first game he played him 3 touchdowns. So, keeping him off the field, keep the run game going. If Fournette's not working, put in Rojo. If Rojo's not working, put in Fournette. And I just say just keep pounding the rock, man, no matter what.
Yeah, I'll turn the attention to receivers in a second, but Musab, I do want to. How do you think the Bucs are going to handle kind of the running, giving people touches in the running game?
They're gonna get a feel. They're gonna be playing Fournette and Ronald Jones a few times, kind of getting a feel of all right, who's gonna be kind of leading the team in yards. My kind of thing is while I do think that Leonard Fournette is gonna go off. I mean, listen, he's done so well this postseason. He ought to, they ought to be just selling playoff Lenny shirts on NFLshop.com and all that. Continuing the success won't be easy, though, for Leonard Fournette. I mean, Kansas City held the Bills running backs to only 32 yards on 9 carries in the AFC game and haven't allowed a 100-yard rusher in the past 6 games. So that's where it really comes down to, all right, well, we're going to be, definitely kind of, using, I think, both of those weapons, Fournette and Jones. But I really do think that Ronald Jones, he is going to return with a vengeance. While Ronald Jones has been working, his way back slowly from multiple injuries, and Fournette has stolen the headlines with a solid performance. But after an extra week of rest, I won't be surprised, and to our listeners and to y'all, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Jones has a huge impact in this game, especially against the Kansas City defense that isn't one of, the league's best on the ground. Jones made key plays against the Chiefs back in Week 12, and I think he's primed to do it again.
Chris, what do you think about Tom Brady throwing to you? Now we've got that just tons of weapons in the air. So do you think it's going to be the Evans and Godwin show, or is there going to be someone else down the line that's going to be the big X factor in this game?
Yeah, I think Evans for sure, because Evans, he wants this, he deserves this. He's ready to play in the big game. I can see him having a huge game. Honestly, I'm thinking he's going to have over 100 yards and a touchdown for sure.
Wow.
If we get into that kind of a game, a shootout game, unless but I see him having a big game for sure. The first game, Gronk had 6 catches for 106 yards. I don't really know if I see Gronk having that much. Like I said, they've been using him to block a lot lately, so I don't know if he'll help out on that a little bit. I'm hoping Miller has a good game though. I want to see some more plays to Miller, maybe 2-3 deep balls and some screens to him. Get the ball in his hands, get him going. He's got that speed, the ability to get down the field and stretch the defense, which is huge. And then I don't know, Brate's been really reliable lately. I know he was coming up on the injury report today, I read, so I'm not sure if he's going to be available for the game from what I read. But if he plays, I see Evans, Miller, and then if Bray plays, I can see him having a good game. And then I'm hoping Godwin has a good game. I'm hoping he shows up and his butterfingers are gone, because obviously we've seen his ability to just go get the ball over the middle of the field wherever need be, really. I mean, that catch against Green Bay was phenomenal. We all saw that and we were like, wow, So we know Godwin's talent too. So I'm gonna think Evans has a really, really big game. I think he steps up and does what he's been wanting to do, and that's win a Super Bowl.
Musab, I'll throw it to you. What do you see out of the receivers this week?
What I see out of the receivers is, and I do agree with Chris about Evans. I think Evans, I mean, this is his moment to shine. I mean, he's got the size and and even the speed and the experience to go against these guys. I mean, he's great, and I really think he's going to take advantage of that height difference as well against these defensive backs. But I'm also really interested, in seeing the matchup between Chris Godwin versus the Chiefs secondary. Although Godwin didn't catch a touchdown in their first meet, he led the Bucs with 8 receptions in the loss. He is the second most targeted receiver in the postseason behind Stephon Diggs, and that's the same Diggs whom the Chiefs kind of bottled up in the AFC game. So that's definitely something to look out for. But I think that he's absolutely phenomenal. I don't think he's going to have those butterfingers like he had in the past. But I will say that this receiver kind of game is not just going to be really just about Evans and Godwin. I really do think that I don't think Scotty Miller or like, someone like, Tyler Johnson will be getting a lot of, opportunities, but I will say when they do, oh man, believe me, they're gonna be very crucial catches that are really gonna help us down the field. Especially Tyler Johnson. I mean, he's been really coming in clutch with some, really good catches in the past. And then again, with the Gronk and Brady kind of little duo, yeah, I'm kind of keeping updated on Brate's, what's going on with Brate. But if anything, I really do think that Gronk, I don't know what he's been doing this last week or so, but I'm gonna tell you this. He's been definitely kind of just putting in work, resting, really meditating and deciding that he's gonna go off this game. I got my money on Gronk, not just because I have his jersey, but I mean, yeah, but I mean, this is just it would just be so just beautiful for Brady and Gronk to just run it back like old times and win a Super Bowl again together. Now, what I'm curious to see, and I don't know, is whether he's going to be very important in kind of the blocking role or if he's going to get some good catches. I mean, he's got some real good size to him, and he knows what he needs to do. So, for that reason, my eyes are on, I mean, all the receivers, but probably Evans and, Godwin are definitely going to be stepping up. But I really do think that Scotty Miller, I'm gonna have to get a feel, but I really do think that he's gonna get a few opportunities in the beginning of the game, but with his speed and just everything he's been doing in the past, I really do think that he might come through with another touchdown like he did last game.
That's a pretty spicy prediction. I was gonna swing in here and say, Musab, do you have a couple of your bold predictions for us?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, for the offense, my bold predictions are. And I say this more, I guess, more for the O-line is I don't think the O-line is going to allow Brady to get sacked at all. They're going to be going off, and they're really going to be on their tippy toes to make sure that, they don't let Brady. I think they might get close. I think the Chiefs might get close, but I don't think they're going to let the Chiefs sack, the GOAT Brady. And then my next one is I think Godwin and Evans are going to combine for, I'm going to say 150 plus yards. And then my third one, my last two, or my third one was going to be Scotty Miller racks up a touchdown. And I think Ronald Jones and Fournette, I think they're both going to get some good touches, and I think they're both going to get at least one touchdown.
Wow. Okay, so I won't get into score predictions until the end of the show, but it looks like you're expecting it to be a pretty high-scoring game. So I think that gives us a good foundation, gets me ready for the Super Bowl, and I mean, we've talked about Brady being the key, them getting the run game going, and making sure that Evans has a huge game, and we're still on the fence about what we're going to see out of Gronk. So that's going to be interesting to see how the game plan really works out. Let's take a break, and when we come back, we will talk about how the Chiefs offense is going to stack up against our Buccaneers defense. It is a huge challenge, and we will break it down after this. Welcome back into RBLR Sports. Man, Musab's got me amped up thinking that the offense is going to score 10,000 points. I am absolutely ready for that. Now, we saw last time that the Chiefs and the Bucs played that these guys, they're pretty good throwing around the ball as well. Kansas City, they average 29.5 points per game, just about. They throw for around 425 yards in the air, and if that's not enough, they rush for over 100 yards on average. Now, this Tampa Bay unit, though, they allow a lot less than that. They allow about 281 yards on average, and they've only given up around 86, about 90 yards on the ground on average. This Buccaneers unit has played nothing but MVP level. Other than maybe Washington, but to get into this over the last 2 games, they had to go through Hall of Famer Drew Brees, and the Bucs only gave up 20 points to him. Then in the NFC Championship, they went through Aaron Rodgers, another surefire Hall of Famer, and those guys only scored 26 points against this defense. So with all that said, Musab, I'll ask you first. There's a pretty good guy under center or in the shotgun for the Chiefs. How can the Bucs stop Patrick Mahomes?
Oh man, that's a good question. I mean, to just kind of say it simply and then dig deeper and later is the first thing is just to attack. I mean, just what we've been doing in the past, but being a little aware of. I mean, this guy art, and then he's young. He's a beautiful arm, and I mean sometimes he can even get a nice run in here and there, which can get to us. I mean that's what got to us last time we played him. He kind of sealed that win against us last time we played him with a nice run to get the first down. So it's just the fact that he can kind of do a little bit of everything. It's kind of scary, but that's what we got to do is kind of really just pick him off, kind of pick his brain or kind of pick his style to see, all right, well, what's he doing, and we got to pick up on it real quick. I mean, if needed be, I mean, we should have extra eyes on this guy on the sideline, kind of really analyzing what this guy Mahomes is doing, because he's going to be really bringing it all. And I mean, what he's been doing in the past, and especially against his the opponents they've played in the playoffs. I mean, he's been showing up, and he's been showing to us all that he's in it. He's regardless of what's happened in the playoffs with his injury, concussion. I mean, he's gonna be coming in strong, ready than ever, and I guess a little bit of kind of I guess a little chip on his shoulder that the fact that one side of the world kind of is rooting for Brady, and it's Tampa Bay, so it's home, so we got the home advantage. But another side is it's Kansas City. There's also I was surprised to find out, but there's still a lot of people who don't like Tom Brady because he's Tom Brady, so they're gonna be rooting for him, and he's the young guy. This is gonna be basically if the Chiefs win it and Mahomes shows up, it's going to be like Brady's passing on the torch to him. So he's going to be giving it all. He's going to be playing smart. I think he's really going to be kind of sharing the ball with, the rest of his guys, of course, but kind of being a good leader. I really do think that his leadership is what's going to be really deadly for our Bucs D.
Chris, Musab brought up the Bucs are they are absolutely an attacking, aggressive defense. Bowles, he does not sit back and allow you to do what you want. He wants to attack you. But the Buccaneers have struggled against mobile quarterbacks that can get out of that pressure. I mean, I know it's 2 different worlds apart, but if you saw the performance from a guy like Taylor Heineke for the Washington football team, now just imagine a person with super stats, that super ability that Mahomes does. That if you rush him, he can get out of that pressure. Do you think there's a way that the Bucs can game plan against the mobile threat of Mahomes?
Yes and no. I mean that's tough because a lot of that stuff is just kind of on the fly. If a play is broken up or a play isn't what Mahomes wants, or he's reading it while he's standing in back in the pocket, he's more than likely going to roll out and probably take off. So I mean, I would definitely recommend maybe a spy on him here and there, maybe on some 3rd and shorts, 3rd and long, maybe just 3rd down in general. Put a spy on him, or maybe a 2nd and long for a play action. Something that someone has to have an eye on him if we're not gonna blitz a lot. I feel like if we blitz a lot, I think we got a good chance. I know he could still get out and roll around, but the way Barrett's playing right now, and even JPP, I think they're pumped up. I think we want revenge from that first game. We only lost by 3 that first game, and we were down quick early in that game, as we all saw. And Pierre Paul and Barrett only had a sack apiece in that game, so we only sacked him twice the first time we played him. And then obviously we have Vea back. We didn't have Vea when we played him the first time. So I think that's going to be huge too. I think that's going to help a ton. We saw Vea come back last week for, 20 snaps. I think he was 25 snaps. And we saw the impact that had right away. And I watched some film on him, and he was taking blocks, so that's going to play a key factor too. So, he's got the ability to do it, but I think a spy definitely, even if it's just White on him, or I don't know if David's really. I guess David could keep up with Mahomes, but I'd probably prefer a spy with White if possible.
Yeah. I think Musab, who are you looking to be big time performers on defense? I know Chris brought up Vita Vea. Levante David. Who are some of the guys you're looking to really step up in the Super Bowl?
I'm going to say I agree with Chris on Vita. Definitely so. He's been an absolute beast in the games he has been playing, and I think he's going to be a big threat, especially being in the middle. He's just an absolute unit. And then I really do like what kind of Chris was saying about kind of the whole, kind of catching up and keeping up with Mahomes. I do think Devin White's the better guy to do that. He's young, he's fresh, he's quicker, and I really do think he's going to be really, really stepping it up. When it comes to our defense, I think something that may help us, and I don't mean to say this in a way that I'm like, hey, we need to do this. But we kind of really need to be playing some. We need to be getting in their grill. We need to be getting up in their grill in every way we can. We need to just be kind of distracting them, or kind of just getting in their heads, because that's what I think is really quick. And so I'm gonna say Devin White. I'm gonna say Vita Vea, and then my last guy I think, who I think is actually gonna step up. I'm gonna say Carlton Davis. I'm going to say Carlton Davis, but I'm going to say I don't think he's going to, rack up like 2 or 3 interceptions and go for like a pick 6 or something. I don't know about that, but what I do know is he's going to be giving it his all. I think the fact that, that kind of key matchup between him and Tyreek Hill, it's going to be real interesting. Hill torched the Bucs for 269 yards and 3 touchdowns in their first meeting. And Davis, being the closest defender, was kind of responsible for that. But I think Davis will be on the Hill a lot of the game, not the entire game. I think he's going to get help from his safeties, but a repeat performance, I don't think is going to happen. I think Carlton Davis. I think I'm going to say this, maybe just kind of just simplify it, is I think he is going to be a very important role player and a key player when it comes to the secondary unit. I think he's going to be communicating with the rest of the guys, and after how he played last time against the Chiefs, I think he's going to make sure that he plays differently, but also just a lot better and a lot more aggressive. And who knows, if I'm gonna say this, if Carlton Davis can't keep up with Hill, whoever the guy is who is going to keep up with Hill. If that means, I don't know, Sean Murphy bunting or something like that, then so be it. But I really do have my eyes out on Carlton Davis. I really do think he's going to be a very important player in this game. Now, when it comes to interceptions or something like that, I don't know. I can't say, because we got a bunch of great guys on defense. But I really do think it's going to be something like I'm picturing the matchup that he's going to have with Tyreek Hill is going to be something very similar to like a Marshawn Lattimore, Mike Evans battle.
That would definitely be the breakout performance that would skyrocket him into everyone's knowledge if Carlton Davis can shut down Tyreek Hill in the Super Bowl. Chris, I'll swing it back to you, man. Do you think the secondary is ready for this challenge?
I do. I think we're more pumped up. I think our secondary's actually settled in a lot more now than the last time or I should say the first time we met Kansas City. I actually have a stat where Tampa Bay cornerbacks have lined up in press coverage at the two highest rates in the Todd Bowles era in consecutive weeks: 44% versus Saints and 47% versus the Packers. The Bucs have forced as many interceptions in press coverage in this postseason 3 as the rest of the NFL combined. So, I mean, going off that, obviously, since we've switched to press coverage, it's helped our corners out a ton. Now, I'm not saying press coverage against Tyreek Hill is the best idea in the world every down, but maybe just rub him a little bit, get him off that route that he wants to go on, get in his face, get him annoyed, kind of get up in his grill a little bit, and ruffle his feathers, get him off his game. Don't let him think that he can go deep on us again and just do his little dancing in the end zone like he did against us, where he was all cocky and excited, and get him out of that, and take him out of his game. Obviously, Bunting's been playing really well through the playoffs. He's surprised everybody, even me. I mean, he's played phenomenal, I should say. I mean, he's huge plays. Whitehead's played really well. The fumbles last week he forced. Devin White's been a monster. Winfield's coming back, so that's going to be interesting to see how he plays. Obviously, I'm hoping he's 100% healthy in this game. So definitely double coverage on Hill if possible. I'd really not like to see one-on-one coverage with Hill unless it's really a blitz that we know we can get to Mahomes and it's the right call and the right down. Like I said, we can't let Hill get by us and beat us. We don't have the fastest corners in the league. So I think just getting in his face and throwing him off his game will be crucial.
Yeah, I was going to ask about, Kelce just absolutely schools soft coverage. I mean, watching the Buffalo AFC Championship game, Travis Kelce just absolutely blows by. If there's a hole in your zone, he's going to find it. And sure enough, Mahomes is going to, even if he's the third or fourth option on a particular play, he's going to find Kelce somewhere. The question I would have is Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce, they run these amazing crossing routes that are almost unstoppable. It's like playing Madden. It's like that one play that is always going to be open on a crossing route, and that's exactly what Andy Reid calls with these guys here. Now, how will the play calling of the defense matter? Because Devin White can't be a spy and cover Travis Kelce, especially on like a crucial third down. So are the Chiefs going to be able to spread this linebacking core thin, or is there opportunity that you see here?
I think they're going to get their opportunities in, but I think this there's going to be another kind of key matchup, which is going to be that Chiefs offensive tackle versus the Bucs pass rush. Kansas City's already without All-Pro right tackle Mitchell Schwartz, and lost his Pro Bowl left tackle Eric Fisher. So that means there's going to be backups coming in, and they're going to be doing their best, and I think they will at times. Obviously, to slow down people like Shaq Barrett, aka Sack Barrett, and JPP, Jason Pierre-Paul, who combined for 5 sacks at Green Bay. But our front is special. We sacked Mahomes twice in our previous meeting, and we tackled 2 other tackles for a loss. I think, you're right, Eureka. Devin White can't be the spy. I think some other guys are gonna have to step up, and they're gonna have to be kind of taking up that. Hey, I'm gonna be a little spy as well. I'm gonna do what I can. Because the big worry is, all right, well, hey, how are our secondaries gonna be covering the wide receivers such as Tyreek Hill? Now, Travis Kelce, that's something we're gonna have to really, really keep our eyes out on. I mean, our whole team, our linebackers, defensive ends, secondary, everyone needs to have eyes out on Travis Kelce, because I think he could be coming in with some really, really key plays. So at least when it comes to that kind of third down thing, oh man, it's the Bucs, they're not perfect, and this is the Chiefs we're talking about in the Super Bowl. It's one thing if you're asking me this question and we're going against, I don't know, like the Washington football team or even, I don't know, the LA Rams or something like that. But, I mean, this is the Chiefs. And, I think they will get their opportunities to get those third down conversions. It's bound to happen, especially with Mahomes leading them. But I don't think it's going to be an issue at all, and I don't think they're going to be getting that many that it's going to be kind of a worry or it's going to help them win the game. I don't think so at all. I think when it does happen, I'm going to pop on it real quick. That's what the big thing that I've noticed, these last few weeks with our Bucs is we are picking up on our mistakes very quickly. We're not letting anything happen again and again or over and over again. That performance that Hill had against us, there is absolutely no way will that happen against us, this Super Bowl. And I don't think anyone's going to have a performance like that on their team. So at the end of the day, it's just, to kind of simplify it, is just, it's bound to happen to our Bucs defense. It may happen. They may hardly get that kind of first down from that third down conversion. But just keep dominating. Because if it does happen, it also depends on where it's happening. If it's happening on their 20-yard line, then all right, well, whatever. We got to pick up on that and make sure they don't get in that field goal area. And if they do, then we got to just keep pressuring. And I do think that that offensive tackle versus Bucs pass rush, that's going to be in our favor. We got some really good, experienced, strong guys who are going to be coming at it against their O-line. I really do think that as long as we keep our eyes out on their receivers, we'll be fine. And yes, they do have a good running back unit, but it's not the biggest worry. To be honest, and I'll just kind of really dumb it down and just say it in a few sentences, is, this is the Chiefs we're playing. We're not expecting, I really don't expect us to just completely shut them down. If anyone who does think that I don't know, they haven't been watching Chiefs football or the highlights or anything like that, it's going to happen. But the thing is, what matters is, when it happens and how it happens and how many times it happens. And for that reason, I think they might get away with a few of those in the beginning of the game. But that second half, that's just going to be, I think it's just going to be a very, very bloody battle between the Bucs D and the Chiefs offense.
So, Chris, I was going to ask you, we were talking about the running game, and I don't want to let it go without talking about, we might be underestimating, Le'Veon Bell and Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Musab did say they have a really good duo, and I think they might play a bigger role in this particular game if the Bucs might think that they always stop the run, and so we have to worry about Mahomes and Hill and all these. Pick your poison was a good way of putting it, because they have Hill and Kelce and everything, but are we kind of underestimating their running game?
I'm not too worried again, man.
Oh, you're not worried at all, man. You're like...
I have 100% faith in our run defense, man. They've been solid for the past 2 seasons. I don't see him giving up a big game, especially in the Super Bowl. I really don't. I think they're going to be pumped. Okay. I'm not afraid of Bell. I'm not afraid of Hyde Edwards. I'm not afraid of them. I don't fear them at all. I fear Mahomes and Hill and Kelce more than anything. I think the one thing I do see, though, is Reed is a good coach as far as 2 weeks off to prepare for a team. He's very offensive minded, so he could definitely draw up a little throw us off and get some more runs in there than we think. But I really just don't fear them getting out there and maybe a 10-yard run here and there. But other than that, I mean, I'm not worried at all, man. I have faith in our linebackers and our front seven, and just we've been really, really solid. So I'm not going to start getting scared now.
Now, we've talked about What did you say a couple weeks ago, Musab? Scared money don't make no money.
Yeah, scared money makes no money.
It's the thing is that we have brought up kind of being physical. Now, Musab, how much does that swagger, that confidence that this defense has when they're kind of on full tilt, man? How much do you think that's going to play into this like emotional Super Bowl experience?
I think it's gonna play a good amount, but it's gonna be in our favor.
Okay.
I just think that when we do get those opportunities for some sacks or some tackles for losses or interceptions or just some good blocks, I think that's what's really going to be pumping us up. I mean, these guys have been giving it their all. I mean, they when they get those sacks or interceptions and tackles, they really get hyped up and fired up, and that's the energy we need. Honestly, my eyes really kind of come down to Jason Pierre-Paul and Devin White really hyping these guys up and telling them, hey, let's mess them up, let's get these guys. This is our city, this is our stadium. I think it's going to be I won't say a crucial factor in the game, but what I do think is it's going to be kind of something that's going to be on all their minds is, hey, we're playing in front of our city, the same city that hasn't been in the playoffs in a long time, and second of all, this is we're being led by the GOAT, and we got millions and millions of people watching us on TV, and also, I mean, I don't think anyone wants to see the Chiefs win it again unless you're a Kansas City Chiefs fan. So it's kind of stopping that dominant team, that dominant team who's been rolling through people and kind of winning games throughout the whole season, kind of that favorite to come to the Super Bowl throughout the whole season. That's the big thing. You asked me week 3, week 4, hey, all right, well, who are the big two teams that are looking good to go to the Super Bowl? It would be, I don't know, someone from the NFC that that I'd have to look into, and then I would probably say the Chiefs. Honestly, I would say the Chiefs or the Bills, but more the Chiefs. And for that reason, it's going to be going on in their heads that, hey, we were a team that was slept on in the beginning. Yes, people thought, hey, we got Brady now, we're going to be doing real hot. But does that mean that he can take us to a Super Bowl? People said, I don't know about that, but hey, we proved them wrong, and now it's time to just show the world that as beautiful as our offense is, this is a defense team. Our offense and our defense have been winning games for us, but defense wins championships, as the legendary Ray Lewis said himself.
Musab, hit me with those bold defensive predictions here, buddy.
All right, here we go. My bold predictions is I think Patrick Mahomes will be sacked 3 times.
Wow.
Yep, he will be sacked 3 times. I do think my next one is I think Jason Pierre-Paul and Shaq Bear are both combined are gonna get at least I'm gonna say 6 tackles for loss. And my third one is Tyreek Hill is going to be contained to less than 70 yards this game.
Now, how do you think? You think it's just your boy Carlton Davis just shutting him down over on Davis Island? Is that? It's gonna be
a little bit of Carlton Davis, a little bit of the safeties, but also it's just gonna be that pressure coming in on Patrick Mahomes, where he's gonna be panicking a little bit. That, oh snap, well, what am I supposed to do now? If Hill's covered, oh, all right, maybe I can throw it to these other guys like Kelce or Sammy Watkins, or even maybe my running backs who can maybe get a nice a few yards for me. But that's what I'm really looking out on. And as Chris said, I'm not worried about the running backs. Yes, I think they're good, but it's not a huge worry for me. I really do think that we're going to be able to contain them. I think my last bold prediction was a little more about Clyde Edwards-Helaire, but it's going to be a little bit of both for them. I think both of them combined, they're not going to get past 80 yards Or actually, no, I take that 70 yards.
Yeah, I think there's Chris brought up a good point about Andy Reid game planning and coming up with those trick plays or those weird things that you kind of see that you would have never guessed, even having 2 weeks to go against him. So we're not done yet. I'm going to put a pause on what I would normally ask about score predictions from everybody. Let's do that at the very end of the show. Chris, I am dying to hear what you think the final score and the MVP are going to be for the Super Bowl. But let's get your insight about our Tampa Bay Lightning. Let's do that after the break. Welcome back in for our final segment here of the show. Let's cool things down with a little Lightning talk. Chris, a big week. We actually had 4 games this week. A nice little home stretch going on here. Chris, how are the Bolts looking, man?
We're looking really good. I mean, we had that tough game against Carolina where it was a goalie battle, which happens every now and then. And we lost in overtime. We got a point, so I'm okay with a goalie battle here and there because they're gonna happen. I'm fine with a 1-0 loss, and especially going into overtime. And then obviously we beat the Predators 4-3, and then we beat them 5-2. We crushed the Red Wings last night, 5-1. I guess last night, 5:30, maybe night game, kind of early game.
Yeah.
But still, we look really well overall. I mean, besides, like I said, that Carolina game, but I'm not even worried about that. The past 4 games, they look really solid. The team seems to be scoring at will right now, honestly, and it's a lot of it's coming from our defensive guys stepping up. Let's see, McDonough had his first goal last night. Great shot, good setup. You had Hedman's been on fire. He's already got 3 goals. The defense is stepping up to play the offensive role, which our defense does a lot, which is really helping the team out. I know the mindset Lightning defensive corps among the leaders in the NHL for blue line scoring. So I mean that's a huge stat right there, right off the bat. It's showing that they're kind of getting in a groove now. We had that obviously a couple delays because of the whole COVID thing, but I think now we're starting to see them kind of get in the flow. And granted, one game was against Detroit, who's in the bottom of the division, but still wins a win, and beating them 5-1 is what you should do against a team that's sitting at the bottom.
Yeah. Now, what do you were talking about that 1-0 overtime loss to the Carolina Hurricanes? What are there little things, because as a team steamrolls, if they just keep going and they're scoring more goals and there's not a lot of adversity, are there any silver linings to putting? I mean, Kucherov was just standing on his head that whole game. What do you think was gleamed by? I know they lost, but was there maybe a silver lining in that game?
You mean Vasilevsky was standing?
Sorry. Oh my God.
Hey man, you're in Cooch mode. You know
Dude,
what I mean?
I'm not Kucherov. Yeah. Jeez. I'm. Sorry, I'm looking at my notes here. Yes, that guy Vasilevsky. The guy with the glove. He did a great job. And was there a silver lining? Getting one of those kind of games where basically the offense just wasn't there for him.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely shows we still got grit, and those kind of games are going to happen, and we can hang around in those, and it can be frustrating, watching the game. Oh man, we can't even score a goal, or we're playing Carolina, but it's that those games are going to happen. You have to accept those games and take the positive from those and just move on and be like, we lost by 1 point in overtime. We still got a point. With the season being short, every point matters this season. Every single point matters. If we get to overtime, we lose. I'm okay with it this year. I don't like losing a lot. I'd like to win 400 games in a season, but that can't happen. So I'm okay having a loss in overtime this year, especially with points being so important to come by with a shortened season. I mean, if you take a look at the standings, everybody's pretty close right now. So every point definitely matters. And Vasi had 34 saves. He only allowed that 1 goal. He hasn't what is he, 34 consecutive starts, I think, right now, going into back into last year. So
Yeah.
he's just an animal.
Now, is there a reason that Vassie is like playing so many consecutive? I mean, you got to throw him a relief somewhere down the road, right?
Actually, I have a little, a little story for you.
Okay.
Me and my wife actually went to see the Bolts do a practice scrimmage a couple years ago, and it got canceled. So Cooper came down and actually talked to all the fans that came to see them practice because they had come back from the Canada trip and they were tired, and Cooper was giving them the day off. And someone actually, asked him a question about Vassie. He said, "What does Vassie do on his day off?" And Vassie's response to Cooper was, "Hydrate and stretch, coach." Those were his words. He said, "I hydrate and stretch, coach." So Vassie he's ready to go. He wants to play. He doesn't like time off. He wants to be on the ice. He wants to play. He wants to, he wants to get as many Vezina trophies as he can, I think. And why not? He looks great. He looks awesome this year. There's no reason for him to be sitting down. And obviously, McElhenney did come get in the COVID protocol, so obviously you really don't have a backup at that point. So he had to play, but I still think he would have played regardless. We do have I think we have a back-to-back coming up, I believe. Monday and Tuesday against the Predators. So I would think Vassie's going to obviously take one of those days off for sure, and we'll get to see McElhenney out there for the first time this year.
Yeah. Now moving to the kind of the two Nashville games, what do you think the team is looking? What's the question I want to ask here? Like, you beat a team back to back. Are we going to see more of Nashville come playoff time? Is this something we can gleam on early, or is it just too early to really say? Okay, are people still feeling each other out?
I think so, especially with the division realignments, because obviously Nashville's not a team we would normally play, 7 times a year in a season, So I think they're getting a feel for each other, and Nashville's really played us well every time we've played them. We finally got 2 games up on them. I was worried about playing them because they always play us very well. Pekka Rinne, I think Pekka Rinne was 9-0 against us, I believe was the stat I heard. So he rarely loses against us. So I mean, we put up 9 goals in those 2 games. We only gave up 5. So I think it's definitely a feeling out process for this year because of the way the divisions are aligned, and you're playing teams you obviously normally wouldn't be playing. So you kind of got to get in that groove of like, all right, well, let's get used to seeing Nashville for 6 more games, and it's gonna obviously every game's gonna be close to each other since they're trying to restrict the travel, obviously. So I think that's gonna have a lot to do with it too, and like I said, we'll definitely see Monday and Tuesday with our first back-to-back games of the year up there.
Now, it's been kind of off and on with we were so excited, and then all of a sudden we had to pause the season all over again, and then things are getting rescheduled and moved. So have you seen enough from what Cooper's done with lineup changes in the wake of that Nikita Kucherov injury and the shakeup we were kind of thinking was going to happen?
Yeah, I mean, I think all the lines are really playing well. That third line with Coleman, Gord, and Gaudreau, man, they're really out there hustling every game. I mean, they're putting up some good numbers already. So I mean, the lines are working. Johnson's he's not maybe scoring, but Johnson's getting his assists out there. He's out there playing. He looks a lot better this year. It looks like he's kind of hopefully getting into the groove of things. Even if he's not scoring, he can put up some assists. Gord's already got 3 goals. Sorelli's got 2. Coleman's got 2. I mean, that line has just played really well. They create turnovers, and Coleman's out there hustling, and I've seen really good things from Coleman this year already. He's played really well. Palat's played well. I mean, it really, honestly, everybody's really, really contributed. Like I said, the Lightning are definitely a hockey team. We play well as a team. We work well together. The lines seem to really be working well so far, even without Cooch.
Now, speaking of another guy that was out but has now returned, give us what's going on with Cernak.
Cernak returned last night. He didn't look too bad. He was on the ice a little bit. I mean, he's more so out there as a he's kind of that. We don't really have that bruiser out there, so he's out there to kind of get a little gritty out there on the defensive side. A lot of our defensemen are more offensemen. Like I said, the defense likes to get up on the in the forecheck and take their shots and contribute a lot more on offense. I mean, Chernak had 16 minutes last night in his first game back. He had one shot. So, I mean, him being back out there, it'll just help as far as, like, the lines just clicking again and him just getting back in the routine of playing.
Yeah, and someone I will ask you about is our up-and-coming guy, Cal Foote. Scored his first goal, man.
He did.
Wow. Take us through that. What happened? How did Footy get his first goal?
Great setup from Sergachev, man. At first, I thought it was Stamkos who ripped it, and it was Cal Foote who ripped it. And I was like, wow, what a shot. And even the commentators were, wow, that was a slap shot over the shoulder, and he rocketed in there. He can really, really hit the puck really, really hard. He's looked pretty well. He's looked pretty solid. Like I said, I think now that we're getting back into a little more of a rhythm, I'm hoping to see more consistency out of him. But he's looked really well. He played 12 minutes last night. He was +3 while he was on the ice. So, I mean, that's huge. His line's putting in work, and he's out there contributing. So that first goal was nice. I know he got the puck given to him. I know he was really excited. He looks like he's 12 years old, but he's not. So he's following in his father's footsteps.
Yeah, man. And of course, his dad, amazing captain for a couple teams, and if
Right.
there's any bit of that in him, then he's got a bright future.
Absolutely.
Now, we've been talking a lot about defensemen here. How do you think the veteran like Luke Shin did in Chernak's absence and playing alongside or with a rookie like Cal Foote?
I'm not that impressed with Shen, honestly. I mean, filling in here and there, yeah, but I really don't like to see him on the ice a lot. I'm not a huge fan of his. Never really have been. I mean, yeah, he's a veteran guy out there, but I'm not impressed by him. Never really have been. Sometimes can commit some dumb penalties that I think are, unnecessary.
Okay.
It's okay to have him on the ice sometimes, to give some guys some breaks and to fill in with the veteran leadership. But I really just not a fan of Luke Shen whatsoever.
Well, tell me how you really feel about it.
Yeah, man. I'm just telling you, man.
No, it's good, man. Now, I was kind of going to ask you about a look around the rest of the division. Have there been another team that we should kind of keep on our radar? I know it's really early, but I know we're on a tear. We're kicking butt. What do you think of some of the other people in our division?
Well, let's see. We've won 3 straight. Carolina's won 5 straight. Panthers are still undefeated technically. They've only lost 1 game in overtime. And then you got the Stars sitting at 5-1-1. So those are the top 4 teams in the division right now. Red Wings have lost 7 straight. About to be 8 straight tomorrow because we're not going to lose to them. So, Nashville's 4-5. Blackhawks are 3-4. Blue Jackets are 4-4. So, really, like I said, I think once teams start getting in a rhythm, we can hopefully see get a little better judgment. It's kind of hard right now with the start of the season, obviously getting off to a slow start. But, Carolina's won 5 straight. They're in second. We're back in first place. So I think we're going to keep winning. And like I said, I can see us winning 35 games this year if we keep up and get into the playoffs and get Cooch back and go for another cup.
What do you think is in store for the Bolts between now and when we talk again next week?
Well, we're going on a little road trip. We got 2 games against Nashville, and then we got the Panthers next Thursday, obviously depending on when we do the show, and then after that we got the Panthers again on Saturday. So playing Florida for the first time this year. We'll see how we do against them. Usually we play Florida pretty well. And then obviously we've played Nashville twice already. So traveling there is, going on the road. Sometimes teams play better at home and on the road. We're undefeated at home this year so far. So, yeah, I mean, that's really where we're at right now.
All right, and then I think one of the last things I'd ask you about is, there was a little bit of a statement. Amalie Arena is selling tickets to a Mike Epps comedy show, which is I think the day before the Super Bowl. So, do you think that we will be seeing Lightning fans in attendance anytime soon?
Man, as much as I want to say yeah. Actually, there was something that dropped today for the NHL as far as COVID protocols, and this is actually really stupid. But nonetheless, I guess they're removing the plexiglass from behind all benches now to allow more airflow. I don't know. Every day is something new with the protocols, So right. They said even if they do allow fans, now fans have to sit even farther away because due to the plexiglass being removed. Fans are going to have to sit farther back, which is just really weird. But I guess we'll roll with it anyway. I don't agree with it, but whatever. What do I know, So, I mean, I'd like to say, yeah, man, I really do. They said February. Obviously, we're already into February now, only a couple days in. So I'm hoping maybe by the end of February we'll see some fans in there. But obviously, the one problem is going to be is ticket prices are just going to be through the roof. Yeah. Everyone's going to want to go to that first home game and see the banner get raised the right way it should. Right. So I think that's going to be just the biggest issue is if it does happen, finding some good tickets that are actually available for everybody to go and be a little affordable.
Yeah, and I guess the last thing that I'll ask your opinion on is, we got this guy. He's pretty good. You maybe have heard of him, Steven Stamkos. Over the last week,
the captain.
Yeah, man, he's pretty good. I'd be remiss if we don't shout him out because he is the franchise leader in goals, in power play goals, and he actually just became the franchise leader in overall power play points. He's gone over 301 and counting power play points. So it's kind of weird to see guys like Vinny Lecavalier and Marty St. Louis and these guys get passed by this current generation star like Steven Stamkos. But yeah, I just wanted to give a shout out. What have you seen out of Stamkos so far this year?
I think he's looked great, man. I think he's looking really smooth out there. He looks like he's back to his form of just being an absolute monster on the ice. The power play obviously hasn't been as solid as I'd like for it to be to start the season, but I think that also comes with rhythm too. But he's still ripping it from his side, and he's had a couple good power play goals up top. He's already got 4 goals. He's already got 6 assists. So I mean, he's out there. He's playing. He's doing his thing. He's back to being Stammer the glass. Well, I shouldn't say glass hammer anymore, but Stammer the hammer. I hope he's not the glass hammer. I got so used to calling him that because of. I know. It was obviously a long running joke, but I mean he looks back to form to me. He's playing really really well so far. He looks smooth out there, and even without Cooch on that line, they still look really 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 good.
Attaboy, and I can't wait to get into. I know the playoffs of the NFL and the Super Bowl has been a gigantic moment for all of us, but I'm looking forward to a little more Lightning talk and kind of getting more in depth as we move on in the season here. I'm just happy we have a season so far after having to postpone and pause.
Agreed, 100%.
Chris, thank you, man, for your insight, and can't wait for more next week, man. Masab, I'll bring you back in here, man. Let's we've kind of we've been holding off our predictions. We've been making the listeners on waiting with bated breath, right? So, Musab, I got to ask you, man, if you could give me your final Super Bowl score prediction and who will be the MVP of the game.
I sure can. All right. Well, my Super Bowl prediction is I'm gonna say I'm gonna start out with it's gonna be one hell of a game. I mean, this is it, ladies and gentlemen. The final battle. This is basically when all these guys on both teams give it their all. But I do have to say, I am predicting a very, very close game. I think, but I'm gonna say this: the Bucs defense. We got 7 sacks and 7 takeaways in the 3 playoff games, and I think that Jason Pierre-Paul and Shaq Barrett can make Mahomes feel uncomfortable in the pocket. Now, how far will their defensive backs hold up against Chiefs' speed? I think they'll do just enough, and for that reason, I have the Buccaneers winning 34-30.
34-30. All right. And
Yep.
your MVP?
My MVP is going to be the one and only, the GOAT, Tom Brady. But I will say though, it would be nice though to see Mike Evans win it. But I think Tom Brady's just going to show out like no one else, and he's gonna be holding up that MVP trophy.
All right, brother. Chris, who you got, man?
Oh man, this is tough. This is really tough. This is it, man. This is the biggest game of the year. This is the biggest game and one of the biggest games in Bucs history. Obviously, we're here to make history. So let's finish it off the right way. I'm gonna go Bucs 38, Chiefs 35.
38-35, and your most valuable player of the Super Bowl.
Man, it's hard to go against the GOAT. It really is. I'm with Musab. I got to go with the GOAT. I'd like to see Mike Evans get it, but I can't go against the GOAT. I can't. He's led us this far, so I'm gonna have to go with the GOAT, Brady.
I am going to say that this is going to be a classic game. Sometimes the Super Bowl is a stinker, and this I do not think will disappoint. You've got good coaches on both sides of the ball of the field. You've got the up and coming gunslinger who's already won a championship against obviously the greatest of all time. But when it comes down to in between the lines, I think that Tampa Bay is going to be able to run for over 100 yards. I think that Kansas City is also susceptible to screenplays and wheel routes and these kind of tricky things that aren't just a go route for 80 yards. I think that the Tampa Bay offense is going to be able to kind of win that kind of death by 1,000 razor blades as they move down the field and they work that time off the clock. I think that it's going to be very, very close. I do not think it's going to hit the over of, I think it's 56 points is the over-under. I think this will be, both teams will score less than 30 points. You have amazing defenses going against amazing offenses, and at the end of the day, the confetti will fire, and all of Tampa Bay will be happy after a 28-26 victory. Tom Brady is not my MVP, though. I think it's going to be Leonard Fournette. I think that this is going to be a superstar caliber running attack. That offensive line is going to be moving mountains, and you know me, man. I'm talking about all the little details matter, and it's going to be a strong running performance by Leonard Fournette that pushes it over in the final minutes of the game to give Tampa a comeback victory, 28-26. But that's what I'm looking forward to. And, of course, the cannons will fire. The parade will be had. We are going to be downing way too many beers after this because we all have our Buccaneers, because we're a bunch of homers. We have the Buccaneers, all three of us winning the ship in front of the pirate ship. To say excited would be an understatement. So, fellas, Chris, let's go to you, man. How crazy is it going to be if the Bucs, and when the Bucs win the Super Bowl?
Man, I don't know what to expect, honestly. I think I'm going to fire my own cannons or go find one somewhere. I'm definitely going to be on Dale Mabry, man. If we win, I'm definitely going to try to get down there and celebrate and obviously be safe at the same time. But
of course.
This is history, man. I mean, I'm 33 years old. I'm going on 34. So I mean, I've seen the Bucs win one Super Bowl, but for the team we have and for this to be a home game, and obviously I wish the stadium could be sold out because I think that would be really, really awesome to see. Obviously, but it's going to be a giant party. You know, I took Monday off on purpose, so I'm preparing myself now. I'm really confident in this game. Obviously, it's the Super Bowl, but I'm not too worried about the Chiefs as I was the Packers and the Saints. Man, I think this is our time to beat them and our time to shine. And Brady's the GOAT, and the baby GOAT got his Super Bowl last year, so it's gonna be wild, man. I don't know what to expect if we win. I really don't. I think Tampa's definitely gonna go crazy, and like I said, I'm gonna go. Maybe try to find my own cannon and fire it off somewhere.
Make sure you don't put a hole in the neighbor's wall, okay?
All right. No doubt.
Musab, man, final thoughts for us before we get out of here on Super Bowl weekend.
Well, to all our listeners, I hope you have a safe and fun time. But I mean, I gotta agree with Chris. It's I would love to buy my own little cannon if we win and fire it everywhere. And I also called off of work on Monday, just preparing myself for any circumstance. But oh man, this is I moved here like right after, I think the year after they won the Super Bowl. Okay. I also wasn't that into football. So when I first came to Tampa Bay, all I heard was people talk about the Bucs. And I was thinking, and I'm going to be honest with it, I was thinking, why are so many people in Tampa Bay fans of the Milwaukee Bucks? And I was like, what? Like, huh? And then I realized like later on that there's a team called the Buccaneers, and people call them the Bucs. So
that's good.
And I'm gonna say this. I guess we're all just putting our ages out there. I'm 23, sure. So I would say I'm sort of a young buck, but sure. I've lived in a few places, but since 2004 I've lived in Tampa Bay. So this is my home. So, and this is my team. Regardless, I tell people this who've been hating on me this season because of how well we were doing. Oh, Musab, you're just a bandwagon, yada yada.
Yeah.
You just like him with the Brady. I told him, I said, listen, like I got photos of me at the training camps in 2017 when things weren't looking too hot for us, but I'm still with my boys. I still support us, regardless of who's on our team, whether Brady joined us or not. I would still be rooting for us. So it would just mean so much if we won this.
I know that there are, with a franchise with the history of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, it is a long history, but there haven't been years like this. It's been few and far between. This is special. Let's take it for what it is. Let's have fun. Let's get excited, and let's get ready for an amazing Super Bowl. I think that the Chiefs are coming to play, and the Bucs are up to the challenge. So from all of us here at RBLR Sports, if there's one thing you can do to help us out, that is, share that excitement. See us on social media, sit at us. Come on, let's go. Send us. How excited are you for this game here? You can get us on Facebook. You can get us. So we are at RBLR Sports on Twitter, on Instagram. And wherever you're listening to us right now, there's a little like button. There's a little subscribe button. If you're on YouTube, if you're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google wherever you are listening to my voice right now, give us a like. Hit us with a subscribe, and if there's anything you can do, man, give us a little review too. Tell everyone else how you are listening and how you are enjoying all the cool things that we try to provide you here with RBLR. So, guys, Chris, Musab, man, let's get them. Let's get that pizza ready. Let's get them beers on ice.
Fire the cannons, man.
Go fire those cannons,
Let's do
baby.
it.
Let's go, guys. Have a wonderful, wonderful weekend, and we will see you next week.
Thank you for tuning into this presentation by RBLR Sports. On your way out of the stadium, please remember to like and subscribe.